life, the bright lights, the type the crowd likes. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they wanna be me, they pay to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
Magic at Hornets, NBA Shot Clock, Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. A top play in this game, under 209.5. Both teams coming to tonight's matchup scorching hot situationally. Orlando running a great campaign on the road, 20-12 ATS. And Charlotte, after making some trades, highly effective at home, 5-0-1 ATS last 6. We don't want to get involved when both teams are hot, but we do want to take the under. Go back to November 26th. Charlotte, with a different roster, did play at Orlando, and the game went way over a 226.5 number, 130-117. And now books are moving the line down 14 points at open to 212.5. And this is an under cluster post All-Star break with direct intention from the league and a different style of refereeing. These teams do not score the ball effectively, 26th and 28th respectively scoring the ball. Both are bottom third pace, and Orlando, with a 4th overall defensive rating, will suffocate any offense Charlotte is capable of. Buy the under in this game, 209.5, and let's cash this ticket.
Celtics at Cavs. Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Tuesday, March 5th, with another free pick, and we're rocking with the Celtics team total over 113.5. Few reasons for that, and it really has nothing to do with the Golden State game. If you guys have been following us for a while, we appreciate you. Then you've heard me say Golden State's a bad basketball team. I didn't need the Celtics to go mollywop them to know they're a bad basketball team. The Golden State Warriors did not fool me with the good month of basketball that they played before the All-Star break. All they showed me is they finally stopped being a really shit team and figured out how to be a decent team. That does not make them a good basketball team. So now that this game is gone, the Celtics obviously are always going to take these Warrior games personally after losing to them in the NBA Finals recently. I'm taking the Celtics team total over 113.5 because since the All-Star break, the Cavaliers, who were one of the elite teams in the league prior to the All-Star break, have not been playing defense to that same level, and that has let them down, which is why they've had a poor record since coming back from the All-Star break. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell being hurt ain't helping, but that has nothing to do with the Celtics team total. It has everything to do with the Celtics are obviously the hottest team in the league. They're rolling on both sides of the court, and a Cleveland team that's struggling without their All-Star and not playing defense, even when he was in the lineup, up to the level that got them to where they are right now. So it's all of that put together that leads me to Celtics team total over 113.5. Let's cash another ticket, y'all.
76ers at Nets, Barclays Center, 7:30 p.m. An official play on the Sixers, +1. Third matchup of the year between these in-conference opponents. 2 blowouts already by the road team, and we expect the road dominance to continue. Philadelphia is catching a revenge game off a 15-point blowout loss at home going back to the previous matchup, and they're finding Brooklyn right where they want them. On a 3rd and 4 home back-to-back where Brooklyn has underperformed all year. Brooklyn is 2-7 ATS on the second leg of a back-to-back, and the last 3, as this team craters down to close the season, have been absolute blowouts against Dallas, Boston, and Orlando. Since Joel Embiid got hurt, the new Sixers group is exhibiting very interesting road versus home polarization. This team is 1-8 ATS at home without Joel Embiid, but they love playing on the road. 4-1 ATS without the big fella. Revenge game tonight, a strong number, a spot to buy the Sixers, an opportunity to dominate. We appreciate you guys following and riding with us on the brand new fast-paced picks show NBA Shot Clock. It is the Shark, it is J.A. Cavalier, and it is Junior Browne. Let's dominate.
Pistons at Heat. Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock on this Tuesday, March 5th with another free pick. Rocking with the Heat minus 11, which is a huge number for the Heat. However, I'm going to give them the respect they deserve. In the month of January, the Heat were 6-10. They were kind of going nowhere fast. Since February 1st, the Heat are 9-3. They look like they figured things out, and most importantly, Jimmy Butler is starting to look a little bit like playoff Jimmy. The shot volume is going up. The intensity is there. You saw him get into a little scuffle against New Orleans. Jimmy's looking frisky. When Jimmy looking frisky, that's when the Heat are at their best. I know Tyler Hero is going to be out, but the Heat are the ultimate next man up team. The Detroit Pistons are an absolute disaster. And by the way, we need to start questioning Monty Williams, man. Like, I did a deep dive into Monty Williams' coaching record. It's not great. And a lot of the decisions that he's made on the sidelines for Detroit have left me thinking that they might have hired the wrong guy, but we'll see. It's too early to tell, and his roster isn't great. That being said, one of the biggest mismatches in this game, from my perspective, is Spoelstra, one of the three best coaches in the league, against Monty Williams. Everything points towards the Heat. I think the Heat put the clamps on Detroit tonight and win by margin. Give me Miami, minus 11. Let's cash another ticket, y'all.
Pelicans at Raptors, 7:30 p.m. in Toronto. An official play, New Orleans, minus 7.5. New Orleans comes into tonight's game off a throttling of Indiana at home on Friday, having had 3 full nights off and not playing their next game until Friday in Philadelphia. This is the utter standalone full rest game you want to buy. New Orleans is 4-4 ATS at the East, but 3 of their 4 non-covers came on the second leg of a back-to-back, the polar opposite fatigue to tonight's game. Since Toronto traded Pascal Siakam, they have been absolutely poor at home against the Western Conference, going 1-5 ATS with an average loss margin in their non-covers by 15.4 points per game. Speaking of margin losses, the Pelicans hosted the Raptors down in New Orleans on February 5th, and they beat them by 38 points. In that game, New Orleans was minus 9.5 at home, and this opens on the road a strong minus 8.5, suggesting another double-digit victory. By New Orleans tonight, minus 7.5, 1 unit official.
Hawks at Knicks. Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock on this Tuesday, March 5th with another free pick, and we're rocking with the under 217 in this Hawks-Knicks game. Let me start with the dumpster fire known as the Atlanta Hawks. This is the best thing I can tell you about the Hawks. Brooklyn had looked like they quit on their season. Just looking terrible, getting blown out by every team, not even being able to score 90, let alone 100 points. And then the Hawks come to town to play back-to-back games in Brooklyn. And what do the Hawks do? Shit all over themselves and get beaten twice by double digits to a Brooklyn team that can't seem to beat anybody. And if you need more proof than what I'm saying, the Memphis Grizzlies come to town right after Atlanta Hawks leave. A Grizzlies team that can't beat anybody themselves, and they beat Brooklyn. So the Hawks are a disaster. Probably the most disappointing team in the NBA if you just look at their roster. The Knicks obviously have all kinds of problems. Jalen Brunson got a non-contact knee injury less than a minute into their last game. So now they're literally out their entire starting lineup. You got Dante DiVincenzo taking 22 shots. Bogdanovich taking 15 shots, which is actually fine because he's like really one of the only competent scorers left on the roster. And that's why I'm taking the under. The Knicks are going to play defense, so they'll keep the score for Atlanta to something decent. And offensively, the Knicks are going to really, really struggle without Jalen Brunson and with these guys that they have taking this volume of shots. The variance is going to be wild with the Knicks for the next little while. So give me the under 217 for 2 struggling teams. Let's cash another ticket, y'all.
Spurs at Rockets, 8 o'clock. Houston, Texas. A lean in this game because we're waiting on the status of Victor Wembanyama, who just popped up on the injury report with a sketchy, to say the least, shoulder injury. If he plays, we will officially be on San Antonio at +7.5. What is going on in this game? Houston started the season scorching hot at home. 15-6 ATS, highly unsustainable. 5-4 since, and they find themselves in a trap spot, a front and back-to-back with the Clippers tomorrow. A revenge game for Houston and a national game on ESPN. Houston is 1-3 ATS, front and back-to-back at home, not where they perform well, and the Spurs are showing signs of life that the Spurs fan base must be thrilled with. The Spurs are coming in here 3-0 ATS last three with two incredibly impressive home outright wins against Oklahoma City and Indiana. The Spurs have been solid all year on the road ATS, 15-17-1, and they do catch a revenge game, having lost by 13 points in Houston on December 11th. That game was Houston -7, and books are moving this down at open to -6.5, suggesting a game played inside of 6 points. If Wemby plays, we're back in the Spurs. It is NBA Shot Clock. We give you an angle for every game. Let's dominate.
Suns at Nuggets. Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Tuesday, March 5th, with another free pick, and we're taking the under 224 in this Suns-Nuggets game. A lot of that has to do with the Suns' struggles. Offensively, they just don't look right. And that has a lot to do with their continuity problems, which are going to extend into today with Devin Booker being out. Beal, Booker, and Durant have like less than 350 minutes total playing time together, which is like less than 10 full games. If you consider they probably play less than 35 minutes a game each, or right around that. So obviously, when your big three doesn't have any time together and someone's always being removed out of the lineup, you can't get any concepts right. You can't practice the same things for extended period of time. Guess who doesn't have that problem literally ever? The Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets starting lineup is the best starting lineup in the league. They've played about 1,000 minutes together, something like that, something crazy like that. Denver hasn't gotten out of third gear the entire season, and they're tied for second in the Western Conference. So while people are busy blowing Boston, who are playing in a soft East, to me, Denver's still the best team in the NBA until proven otherwise. I think that they win this game by a final score of about 114 to 108, 113, 107, something like that. A score that will get us the under 224 and allow us to do what we do, which is cash another ticket, y'all.
Pacers at Mavericks, 8:30 p.m. American Airlines Center, Dallas, Texas. This game is dependent on whether Luka Doncic plays or not. Unfortunately, injury report is giving us some ambiguity tonight. If Luka plays, we do like Dallas as a top look in this game. Stay tuned throughout the afternoon. Dallas is in a unique buy low spot in tonight's game, coming in here 1-4 straight up last 5 off a putrid tank zone spot to Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. Joel Embiid didn't play, the Mavs didn't take the game seriously, and the Mavs have been lackluster all year at funky start times. They will bounce back here. 5-3 ATS at home off a prior home non-cover, and they are 2-9 ATS against the East, which just has to improve. And it should improve here against an Indiana team on the third game of a road trip, having gotten blown out twice in a row at New Orleans, at San Antonio, 3-7 ATS at the West. This is a high motivation spot for Dallas. Dallas just got their butts kicked in Indiana, probably not coincidentally, on a Sunday going back to February 25th. Indiana 133, Dallas 111. Key point on the line, Indiana favored there, -2.5, Dallas -4.5 here. This is suggesting a 9-point victory on the average. We will be buying this. Stay tuned throughout the afternoon. Dallas -4.5, a top lean.